Hello, I am Dorina Espinosa, a Master Food Preserver Advisor in Humboldt and Del Norte counties. And today I'm going to show you how to make low sugar strawberry jam right here in my own home kitchen. Some of you may have a boiling water canner, and that's fine, you may use that, but some of you may not, so I'm going to show you how to make the jam today using a regular pot that you can use for a boiling water canner. No matter what pot you use, you want to make sure that you have something at the bottom of the pot so the jars aren't directly resting on the bottom of the pot. You'll need a pot to cook the strawberries. You'll need canning jars, measuring cups and spoons, and a couple of specialty items for canning. A headspace measure, a jar lifter, but any funnel will do. An item to mash your strawberries. And for your ingredients, you'll need strawberries. And I'm going to use frozen strawberries just in case fresh strawberries are not in season. And a sweetener. I like to use honey, but you may use sugar or even stevia. And then for low sugar jams and jellies and marmalades, you can use Pomona Pectin. And the Pomona Pectin has everything you need for making low sugar fruit jams and jellies. Has the recipes and 2 packages, the pectin and the calcium. And you'll also want some labels. And the first thing you want to do is wash your hands for 20 seconds. Next, you want to wash your jars. Make sure when you do that, you check the rim for any nicks and the jar for any cracks. After you rinse the jars, just place them in the pot that you'll be using for your strawberry jam and fill the pot with water, bring it to boil, and let it rest. The lids don't actually have to be placed in the hot water like they used to. The new material doesn't require us to heat them, so you can rinse them and just put them aside for now. Next, we will mash our strawberries. The recipe calls for 4 cups of mashed fruit. With Pomona recipes, there's a range of sweetener to use. Again, I use honey, and I'm going to use the minimum amount, which is half a cup. To the honey, I'll add the pectin. It's a powder, and this recipe calls for 2 teaspoons. We'll also find the calcium package in the box of Pomona, and that's used to make calcium water. I store the extra calcium water in the freezer so I can use it again. Add 2 teaspoons of calcium water to the strawberries. Now we need to bring our strawberries up to boiling. Make sure you bring your strawberries to a full boil, which means when I stir it, it's still boiling. So add your honey now to the full boil strawberries and boil for another 2 minutes. And now it's time to ladle the hot strawberries into our hot jars. That's why we heat them. We use our jar lifter to get the hot jars out of the hot water. I like to place them on a cutting board so the hot jars aren't directly on my table. Now it's time to ladle our strawberries into our jar. Sometimes there's foam at the top of the strawberries, and you can skim it off if you'd like or keep it in. After you've poured the strawberries, you want to make sure you have 1/4 inch headspace, and this device, the first step on this is 1/4 inch. You want to make sure you remove any air pockets, and I use the other end of this measuring device After you remove the air pockets, make sure you measure for 1/4 inch of headspace again. And to make sure we have a good seal, we take a wet rag and we wipe the rim of the jar. Now we're going to put the lid onto our clean rim, and we'll put the band on later. We clean the rims so we have a good seal. Next we put the band on. I just twist it until it stops and then go a little bit more till it's finger tight. Now it's time to actually put these in the boiling water canner. So we want to make sure that the seal isn't compromised, so we lift straight up, across, and straight down into the canner. Make sure when all your jars are in the pot that you have 1 to 2 inches of water above the lid. And now it's time to boil. Once the pot of water is boiling, you want to boil it for 10 minutes at sea level, or 1 extra minute for every 1,000 feet above sea level. At the end of 10 minutes, turn off the stove, take off the lid, and let it rest for another 5 minutes. Again, we lift straight up and down. We place them on a surface that isn't cold and in a non-draft area. Let them rest undisturbed for 12 to 24 hours and resist the temptation to take water off of the top so you don't compromise the seal. After your 12 to 24 hour period, you want to take the band off of the jar and check for the seal. Remember to label the jar so you remember to enjoy it within 1 year after you canned it. Thank you for joining me today in making low sugar strawberry jam. You can find more information on preserving food at UC Cooperative Extension's website. Enjoy your jam.